Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. I hope everyone's weekend is off to a good start. Welcome back to the DTT. Now, normally I don't make videos on Saturdays, but I couldn't help myself on this one because since it's so new and fresh, I've already had people starting to ask, so is the Awakening really worth it? Now, the higher levels Awakening, since you need 20 soul crystals to reach it, that is purely in the realm of whale and kraken territory as of now, because the only way you're really getting that is spending money, buying the packs, because you can only get, I do believe, 3 from Giant Tower if you max out Giant Tower. So that means you need another 17 from packs, which means that if someone's got an A10 Daniel, they have them maxed. So you saw the thumbnail of this video, you clicked on it. Now some of the proof is starting to come out, some of the receipts are starting to trickle out in the community that yeah, it's no joke. Awakening is basically supercharging, turning the heroes into basically Super Saiyan versions of themselves. And in this video, we're going to go over some numbers, some proof, some receipts to back that up. Now, what, again, do we get from the potential? What do we get? If we go all the way down to the bottom, you're going to see we do get some specifically this one, specific buffs against robots. Finally, we've had bug gear in the game forever, and we've always said, where's the robot gear, where's the whale killing gear? Apparently the whale is a god. If you remember from back in the story, and when we used to read the story back when we started, they used to refer to the whale god by the Atlas faction. Well, the whales and like the little creatures are apparently deities. They're apparently gods. But for Daniel, the main purpose that we want is we want this robot killer because we use Daniel in guild hunts. Now, I'm going to show you some guild hunt data, and I want you to keep in mind that this is specifically buffing him there as well, and kind of like on top of what he's already getting. So what do we get that can possibly supercharge Dan? Well, we get damage amp. That's just 4% straight stats. Damage reduction is not really going to help the damage numbers. His new passive is damage reduction and CC dispelling, so that none of that from his new passive is going to really affect damage. It's more so survivability, which is also good. He's going to get a big old 9% more attack, which is going to translate to higher levels to his summons. Health doesn't really matter a whole lot, although that's going to help give HP on the bear. And then the new bear ultimate, we're not going to go into that, but basically it revamps the bear's ultimate. There's some anti-assassin stuff in there. Crit rate, crit damage. Now that's going to effectively change how we gear Dan completely, because the new ultimate, the bear, is actually going to start inheriting crit rate, I do believe, and crit damage. Let's see. Let's go all the way down to the bottom. We'll see. What's it say? What's it say on here? Yeah, right here. So, yes, the bear now does inherit 120% of his attack, and then 100% of his crit rate and crit damage. So you're gonna have to re-gear Dan completely, and the screenshots that we're gonna discuss are re-geared Daniels. What does this do? This is less range damage. This is more stuff. This is the anti-assassin stuff. It stops teleports. Bug gear, basically. Robot gear. Whale gear. And then this is PvP. PvP. And at the very bottom, again, PvP and PvP. So we're not going to show you any PvP stuff, but I have heard early reports that an A10 Dan definitely has now elevated the summoner team to a PvP team. So if you have him, if you're going up against one, good luck, because they're going to kill you. Because this, I do believe, I don't think it transitions to other heroes, but let's just read. So in PvP, increase the damage. It says of all heroes and summon creatures can stack with other effects. The fact that it says the damage of all heroes is, it initially tells me that this is OP. This is absolutely OP. This is going to transition to all of your other summoned creatures, all of your summoned heroes, and A10 Daniel is probably going to make summoners one of the best, again, one of the best PvP teams in the game. And then I'm assuming this is damage reduction, reduces damage taken by all heroes and all heroes and summoned creatures. All summoned creatures, but 15% can stack with other effects. That's massive. And then the things that you can't see underneath my head that I'm gonna click on. In PvP, Here we go. This is just Dan specifically. Increases the damage of the summoner hero and summon creatures by 9%. So this stacks on this. See how this says can stack with other effects? So 15% damage. Well, now we're going to add 9. So that is 24% extra PvP damage for Dan specifically. And then over here, another 9 damage reduction. Yeah, these are broken. These bottom ones, 9 and 10, just like the X5, when you get them to Immortal 5, is broken. This is absolutely freaking broken. So keep all that in mind when we're going through some of the screenshots when referring to Danny Boy. Now, we're going to start with Guild Hunt. Okay, here we go. So this is taken from, I do believe it is only Turbine 9. Turbine 9, so keep that in mind. This is Zoso. This is an A10 Dan. You see that his team is pretty stacked. So if we look, we can specifically see that there is no Ampu on here. But Sif is doing 2.8 billion damage. Okay. But Danny Boy is doing 5.1. Keep in mind, he's going to have the benefit of getting that extra 16% attack from his his robot talent on his Awakened 8. But that is a huge bump to what he was doing before. He wasn't even touching. He wasn't coming anywhere close to Sif before. Now he's not doubling her, but you know, he's gonna get there. He's well, maybe not. That's just damn good numbers. So keep that in mind. That he's already blowing a maxed Sif out of the water. So now if we go to a Guild Hunt comparison, this is that hit that he did. So that's Zoso at the top. And then you see me at the bottom. I have a maxed Daniel as well, but he is only A1, Awakened 1. My summon team did roughly 9 billion damage in 2 hits. 2 hits, whereas Zoso's team we just looked at did almost 10 billion damage in 1 hit. The proof is in the pudding, ladies and gentlemen. Like I don't have to elaborate on this further. That is a drastic change from changing one hero on your team, but also keep in mind that him, well, I don't know. Actually, you know what? That I'm assuming that it's PvP talent. So the extra damage is just in PvP that carries over to the other team. This is only coming from, this difference is coming from Dan himself. Also keep in mind, though, that I only have an Immortal 2 Sif, whereas Zoso has an Immortal 5 Sif. So keep all that in mind, but still, the difference in damage is staggering. Okay, so that's Guild Hunt, where Dan is going to benefit specifically from mechanics on his A8. So now let's go look at him out in the wild in just normal PvE environments. Now I got to set this one up. So this is the guild boss. This is Sif. This is Sif's numbers solo. Basically with 5 seconds left. All these screenshots are going to end with 5 seconds left. So Sif solo is doing 190 million damage. Now Sif, you know, she's maxed here. Keep that in mind. Actually, I don't know if she is maxed. I think this is somebody else's testing. So she could do more at max. It looks like she's only IMO 0 in that picture. Now here's Dom. Actually, you know what? It doesn't translate to this because I know for a fact that this guy has Dom Immortal 5. Okay, so this is probably the IMO. This is probably the IMO 5 Sif doing 190 million damage by herself. Dom, 249 million damage by himself. Now here's Dan. Now here is an A10 Dan. 276. Sorry that it's a little blurry. So if we again look at Dom, Max Dom, 250. Max Dan, Awakened Dan, 276. So I can't just state this isn't an apples and apples comparison with Dom's kit and Dan's kit, but just sheer numbers by themselves. An A10 Dan, where he used to be kind of dog poop at this point in the game, he's now a contender. He's back in the, he's like, the king is back, ladies and gentlemen. Now, for comparison, 276 Dan on this. Here is a maxed Coraxia, 308. Dan is almost catching a maxed SP hero. Let that sink in. Now I gotta go and close all those windows. Let that sink in, ladies and gentlemen. So, to summarize this video, the higher levels awakening, once you get them up there, drastically supercharges whatever hero they choose to allow you to awaken. So now let's just imagine that that Emma is next. Let's just imagine that Ravenna is next. Now, let's really go out there and imagine that Leo is next. The reason why I don't think they'll do Leo right away is they want to incentivize you to go after Ares and Claire, which are relatively new vanguards. Of the summoner team, Sif is the newest, and she's already come. She's had her giant tower. She's gone. Now she's going to come back in other banners, but the summoner team is kind of set, right? There's no one really they want you to spend on further, whereas in the Vanguard team, they want you to spend on Claire. In the Hunters, they want you to spend on Arcadia. In the Energy, they want you to spend on Cariolus, etc., 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 right? So now they can go back to these old heroes. What team is the next team that could that they might want you to awaken? Bailey, maybe. Bailey's completely gone. Maybe Bailey. The heroes I probably most want to see is I want to see Emma, because I think the Hunter team is probably the next that drastically needs a boost other than the SP. But they probably won't do Emma, because then that's going to decentivize you to go out and get the SP. So they're always going to be pushing from a monetary viewpoint. So when you're making your speculations on who's coming next, kind of look at it as who can they make the most money on? What team can benefit most from spending money on that hero versus spending money on another hero in that team? So if we just go and look. So let's just sort through here. Let's go back to the game. So summoners, this is pretty easy, right? So everyone in here, Ampu, they've brought him back a ton. Everyone should have an Ampu by now. Sorvali, you can pick her copies up in the Endless Battle Store. Dorley, you can pick her up in the Battle Order Pass. Sif is really the only other newest one, but this team was suffering beforehand, and Daniel makes it great again. Now, Energy is fantastic the way it is with Nord, Jaina, and Cariolus. But if they did choose to awaken, say, a Ravenna or a Luke, look out, that team's going to be a freaking monster, more so than it is, and I think that's why they're not going to touch Energy right now, because Energy is so strong. I don't think they're going to touch the tanks, because, again, the tanks are really, really strong, and if, say, they awaken Zeta, which would probably be the candidate, who would Zeta replace? Well, Tachikoma, but that's fine. So, really, the tanks might be the next likely candidate, because the tanks are good, but the tanks get annihilated by Energy. The tanks get annihilated by Assassins if you have VSP. Zeta may be a good candidate, because Tachi, I don't know how they're going to bring back these heroes in the past, and otherwise I don't see any of these as being money or characters that they're going to make a lot of money on going forward, right? Like Teresh, Wami, and Panda. Probably not going to make a whole lot of money. Specifically, they're starting to put Wamagon in an Elite Chapter. So Zeta, a likely next good candidate. Assassins, well, Sammy, they're still trying to push Sammy. Sammy hasn't returned back in a Giant Tower, even though they're probably not going to come back in a Giant Tower. We're probably going to get the Awakened heroes in the Giant Tower, but they can still make money off of Sammy, bringing him back in the chip stores, pushing you to get him, versus, like, they could... The obviously ideal candidate for Awakening in the Assassin class is probably Dominic. Vanguards, Leo. It's going to be Leo, but I think if they do a Leo Awakening, it's going to break things, because the Vanguards right now, as they are, can already beat the two SP teams. If they give us an Awakened Leo, that's going to completely annihilate their $3,000 shiny toys, and not give people people are not going to be incentivized to go get them. They're just going to be like, well, I'm just going to Awaken Leo. I can spend a lot less money if I'm going to spend Awaken Leo and destroy those other SPs that cost a lot more money. So they're probably not going to do Leo, although we all want to see it. I think it's either going to be Tank or a Hunter next. I think Emma, who I don't even have a single Emma on this account. This is my casual account. The Hunter team is pretty lackluster. Now, they do want to incentivize you to go out and buy Artemis, but in the meantime, you know, we got our single target hunters and we got our AoE hunters. Artemis is kind of both in one, whereas Emma and Rebecca are the two single targets that are meaningful, and then the AoE ones are Arcadia, and you could almost call Arcadia a mix as well. Really, it's the true AoE ones are Moriami, Prygor, and Ryzeris. Now, we can still have Ryzeris on the team, but say let's awaken Emma, and then we can have four, Emma and Rebecca as the single targets, and then Arcadia as like kind of the flex, and then Ryzeris as the speed battery. And yeah, I think Hunters could be a good move. So that's who my next two guesses are for Awakening is Zeta and Emma. I'd really like to see Emma awakened because all of us have Emma at X30 if you've been playing since launch. That would be awesome. I'd like to see that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this video. The Awakening system is broken. It's broken. But it's awesome. I'm not buying it. I'm not dropping that kind of money because, again, you can get a few copies through the virtual training room, right? The daily or the shop in here. You can get copies in Giant Towers. If you're gonna spend, then if you're gonna go to the packs, and I keep hitting every wrong button. You're gonna go to the packs in the store. This is going away in 2 days, but it could incentivize. This video might incentivize people to go and buy this. I recommend you don't. Because after this, after Daniel's little crystals here are gone, unless they bring them back, we're gonna have to go for these soul crystal ones, which I don't know how we're gonna get these other than buying them. Don't know how. They are in these soul crystals are in a permanent spot. I do believe it is in value packs. Yeah, right there. So this is a weekly pack, so you can get 2 of these a week for $100. So this limited pack is a much better deal because you're getting 2 for $100. But as soon as this is gone, there's no guarantee this is ever coming back. This deal. I'm not telling you to run out and buy it. I'm just pointing it out to you. The fact that when you come into value packs, these ones are going to be weekly, and they're a lot steeper price tag. These are a lot more expensive. And in monthly packs, I don't believe we have them any. Nope, they are just weekly packs. So, ladies and gentlemen, hang on to your butts, because Awakening is here, and it is changing the game. Thank you for coming, everyone. The word of the day, the safe word of the day, is Super Saiyan. Good luck spelling it, because that's what Dan is at A10. They have definitely accomplished their goal. Awakening is drastically improving the heroes that they choose to awaken. So Super Saiyan down in the comments below. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Catch you in the next one. Have a good one. Cheers, peace. Bye-bye.